Do you want to know more about model railroad scenery? Why don't you stick around and see how we do it on my scale model railroad, the Sayre Secondary. Hello everyone, Joe from Central Jersey Conrail and N-Scale, and welcome back. So this time on the scenery playlist, we're going to be working on Englishtown. We're going to be getting it to a point where we're all ready for trees. We'll get all the ground foam in, all the detail work and everything. We have a lot to talk about, to get caught up on, you know, but the video's rather long. There was a lot involved in putting together Englishtown, so I want to just dive right into the video, and then we'll talk a lot afterwards. But before we get going, I just wanted to touch upon one thing. So after last episode, when we worked in Jamesburg, I talked about how that I was going to have to come up with a way to make the memorial at Veterans Memorial Park. So after the video aired that day, actually, I was contacted by Marc from Canada. And Marc runs a 3D printing business. And I'm going to throw it up in the comments, the link to his website. It's an Etsy shop. It's 1160 MO3 DLS. Here's his business card. I'll show you right there, but I'm going to put all the information in the contact list. Marc contacted me that night and sent me a picture what he had done. He had gone on Google Earth and got some pictures and saw what the memorial was, and that night he did this. Made the prototype for me. Let me get it in focus. Unreal, beautiful. Contacted me and said, "Hey, I did this tonight. Are you interested?" Yeah, I'm interested. Marc, this is amazing. You know, that just goes to show you what the model railroading community is all about, and especially all my followers on YouTube. So, Marc, thank you. So anybody, you want custom 3D printed stuff, you know, head over to his Etsy shop and check it out. He does some really nice work, and he sent me a house too, but I can't reach it because it's on the other side of the layout, but really nice work. I'll put it up in the comments. Go check out his Etsy shop to go see his 3D prints. And Marc, thank you very much. That is awesome. I am so happy. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right over here in Jamesburg. Right there. So, with that being said, let's head over and watch the video, and I'll talk to you afterwards. Okay, so let's get started putting everything together here. So to make my roads, I use 2mm craft foam. I get that at Michael's. It comes in flat sheets, and kids use it at school to make all kinds of arts and crafts. So what I'll do is I'll use that to lay out the roads, and I'll get it all put together and laid down on the foam, make my final decisions, and then I'll start gluing it in place. I just use carpenter's glue and then thumbtacks to hold it in place. So one of the things I love about using the craft foam for your roads is it's flexible, so the terrain doesn't have to be perfectly flat or level. You can kind of like make it go up and down very easily. The only downside to it is it's very porous, so in order to paint it, you have to really put a heavy coat of paint on there. I've found that airbrushing using craft paints works out really good. You just got to put a nice heavy coat on there, and maybe multiple light coats to get a good coverage so you don't see all the pores. So those little white spots you see there, that's where the Sculptamold was too bumpy, so I shaved it down with the rasp to make it a little smoother, and it came in and laid the roads. My crossings, the wooden ones are Blair Line, and the black ones over on 571, those are from Woodland Scenics. Okay, so I let the carpenter's glue set up overnight, and then I come back the next morning, pull the push pins out, and I'm just going over the joints with some lightweight spackling compound and just using my finger, just smoothing it out nice and smooth. I don't even sand it, I just use a wet sponge to kind of smooth it out and then get ready for painting. Here I am painting with my airbrush. This time around I made the smart decision to mask off the backdrop because in previous sections when I was painting these roads I got overspray on the backdrop. So it just areas that I have to cover with trees and bushes, so just to avoid it this time around I use some masking tape. So I don't know if you saw it at the beginning of the shot. That was a bottle of Old English furniture repair. So these wooden crossings they're super clean and just look too bright. So just to be easy, I grabbed some Old English because I have it laying around, and then use a Q-tip and just smeared it on until I got the desired darkness that I wanted. So all my road markings are from highways and byways. You know, so I looked at the Uniform Traffic Control Manual just to get an idea of how to stripe properly with the stop bars and where you put gaps, and you know, everything you need from highways and byways is in that kit. The only issue I found with the striping from highways and byways is that it doesn't do well on curves. So if you got a curve around the lines, it's problematic at best. So you got to really work at it to get it to stick down. Sometimes you'll see it'll pop up in certain spots. But overall, you know, for straight line roads, it's a super great product. It's nice, clean lines and easy to lay in. So despite the problems with running the lines across curves, you know, it is a lot better than the alternatives. If you're looking to do striping, you can do, you know, mask it off and paint it, but that's a very time-consuming process. Or I've seen a lot of people using the colored pencil with a ruler, and that works really good on like a hard surface, such as like foam core board or even styrene plastic. But with this soft foam, it doesn't really present a good line. I've experimented with it a couple times and didn't like the way it came out. So there's some other options for you other than using the highways and byways kits. So now I'm just going to work through the area, finishing up all the striping and getting the road ready for the next step. So I think this is key to making your roads be just regular old roads to actual prototype roads, and that is weathering. I think that's a big key that a lot of modelers miss. I've experimented with a lot of different things on roads, and I found that the weathering powders, and specifically the gray color, makes it look really good. So here I am testing the newly installed Logic Rail rail crossing signal system. The signals themselves are from NJ International. Really like it the way it came out. It was a lot of work. There's a lot of wiring. I went with the photocell sensors, and I'll talk more about that later. Very happy with the way it came out. It adds a lot of good animation to the scene. Okay, here I am starting ballasting here in the area. I like to do my ballast before I do my ground cover. With the siding here in Englishtown, I decided to try something a little different, and what I did is I took some of the Scenic Express gray ballast and I mixed it with some dirt, natural dirt from New Jersey, and some fine ground foam, and kind of made up this concoction because I wanted this siding to look like, hey, it's not totally maintained, you know, it's kind of just a siding for runarounds. So I really like the way it came out. The effect was pretty good. So yeah, so just work through it and then put it all together. Here you can see I'm using some more of my homemade concoction of ballast. Yeah, it really came out good. So I'm just working on the siding over there at Agway and trying to lumber. So a lot of modelers just don't like ballasting. They hate it. They keep complaining about it. But you know, I'm not saying it's my favorite thing to do in the hobby, but I got the process down now. It goes very quickly and I get through it. That little feathered brush really helps me out in grooming the ballast to the profile that I want. Now I know I model in the modern era, but I love this cinder ballast, and I like it for kind of just expanding the area and doing those odd, like gravelly areas. It comes out really good. So yeah, something to think about. Really like the way it comes out, and I use it for like kind of maintenance roads or like where that signal maintainer truck would be sitting. So right now I have like this odd transition from the scenery to the fascia, and I'm trying to, you know, all through the layout of it, just kind of having trouble with making it work. So what I'm doing here is with the blue tape, I'm building a little dam and I'm putting in cinder ballast to kind of bring it right to the edge. Still trying to figure out the best way to solve that solution. So once I get my ballast groomed the way I want it, I just come up with my spray bottle with isopropyl alcohol and just wet it down. I find it works a lot better than wet water. The wet water is kind of problematic, so the isopropyl alcohol has been treating me really well. Get everything kind of saturated and then just dribble on the matte medium and let it dry overnight. So here in Englishtown, the two roads, I decided to go ahead with a lot of line poles because it wouldn't interfere with switching operations. These line poles are just Atlas poles that I kind of just snipped off the extra cross arm and kind of just painted them up. And that one in the corner is a little homemade job. I took the second cross arm and kind of heated it up and kind of bent it so it has that 90-degree turn. And then I'm just coming on with Easy Line, putting in just the three lines, the three transmission lines across the top, so it would be something similar to a 15,000 kV, or I'm sorry, 15 kV transmission line. And I like the Easy Line. It's very forgiving. You know, you're not paying attention, you bump into it. It doesn't break things. So yeah, think about it. Once you get your process down with that, and I've talked about it in the past, it's really easy and fun to do. So I figured adding the lines in the back of the scene kind of just fill out the scene and make a little more interest towards the backdrop. I just go very basic. I don't go crazy with, you know, communication lines or service lines, and I didn't even put in transformers or anything. I've seen a lot of modelers in HO scale that do beautiful line work, and it really adds to the scene. But for in scale, I think this is just enough, and it kind of adds a little interest and looks good. Okay, so now we're going to get started dropping in all the buildings. All the buildings are lit. They have some kind of lighting effects to every single building. Because we're on the foam here, it makes it a little easier. I just take my hot wire cutter and I put the probe on it and just stick it right through, burn a hole in and feed the wires through and hook it into my 12-volt bus, which is run underneath. So as we're working on the agway here, let me just touch upon a little history. So the agway, as you see it now, if you look on Google Earth, it doesn't have the elevators. The elevators were kind of a key feature in the 80s and 70s and 60s because it was where the local farmers got all their product from. However, there was a series of fires in the late 80s that pretty much the last fire in 1989, they decided to remove the elevator structure because it was totally destroyed. This elevator, the way I've constructed it, is the best that I can determine from looking at the two only pictures I could find from the newspaper article from the day of the fire. It may or may not be prototypically accurate, but it's very, very close to it. I do know that the structure of it was one of those open 4 concrete tubes with something on the top. So I did the best I could, and I think it came out really nice and adds a nice feature to it. And I've always said since I built it, it's kind of an oddball for New Jersey because it looks like a silo that you see out in the Midwest, not here in the middle of New Jersey. So as I'm putting Triangle Lumber together, a little quick history lesson about Triangle Lumber. Triangle Lumber was a company that had their main lumber yard in Freehold. Then they decided to change locations to Englishtown in the late 70s and early 80s. And then they moved further down the line into Monroe, closer to Jamesburg, before they finally went out of business in the mid-90s. So yeah, Triangle Lumber, it's kind of been in the area the whole time, but it just kept moving. Okay, so now we're going to get started working on ground foam. I got that little odd area over in Jamesburg done. Now I'm working in the field across from the firehouse. This was Doc Woodruff's farm. So I'm kind of representing that it's a farm field still, kind of. Maybe he's just got some hay growing in there, or something like that. Eventually, the Woodworth property was bought by a developer, and it turned into a housing development across from the firehouse. Now, just to let you know, this firehouse location here is not the 1988 location. This is the 1992 location. The Englishtown Fire Department abandoned their firehouse downtown because it became structurally unsound, and they petitioned and was able to raise funds to build the new firehouse, which is represented here. Okay, so this road you're looking at, on this side of the tracks, it is called High Bridge Road, and that's Manalapan Township, and then across the tracks it becomes South Main and Englishtown. The border is the railroad tracks. You can see that I used Blair Line Kit's signs to put on the roadside, and this is an unprotected crossing. A little derailment due to ground foam on the tracks. Here I am trying a new product that I found. It's Woodland Scenics ground foliage. It comes in this shaker. It's really dark, and it's got a little bit of like light colored ground foam sprinkled into it, and it comes out in big chunks and covers a lot of ground. I really like it. It adds a lot of depth to the scene. It's a little different color, a little different texture that I've been using. So yeah, definitely gonna be using a lot more of that in the process. So as you notice, as we're going along through this process here, I haven't been too concerned with the alcohol dripping on the road or the matte medium dropping on the road. It kind of adds a little character to it. Kind of looks like maybe a puddle or like a discoloration to the road, adds a little more texture to it. So I kind of just did it by accident, and I'm just running with it. So we're going to kind of skip around in here because there's a lot of work going on, and I didn't have time to fit it all into one video. I am going to highlight this little area. This is, I'm making a dirt lot. The Triangle Lumber pretty much had a dirt lot, so I'm using some cinder ballast for kind of like a gravel apron as the truck's pulling off the road, and the rest is going to be dirt. So the process for doing that, what I do is I put a nice heavy coating of white glue down, and then I take my sifted dirt that I have and just sprinkle it on with a spoon. So the effect I'm kind of going for here is kind of like just a nice hard-packed dirt surface where the where the lumberyard was. This dirt I'm using, it's not anything store-bought. I actually went out and collected it from central New Jersey, and I just prepared it myself. Sifted it out, got all the big heavy chunks out. I have two grades. I have a fine and a medium, based upon what sifter I was using. And then I just baked it to dry it out and just to kill any of the microbes that may be lurking in the dirt, and put it in a nice airtight container. And this one container you see here has been pretty much all I'm ever going to need. So once I get the area groomed with my feather brush the way I want it, I'm just gonna come in with some alcohol and saturate it and break the surface tension. And then I'll just dribble on matte medium, and I kind of bring it to the level where you kind of see you'll see at the end it kind of gets almost a little tinge of white, and it looks like it's just holding too much, and that's it. Don't go any further. If you get pooling or puddling, I just generally take a little dirt and sprinkle it on top of the pooling area, and it's served me very well, the process. It comes out very nice and solid, and don't have to worry about it, but it still looks nice and dirt-like. It doesn't look like it's glued. Back to my dirt. Now I know that there's a lot of companies out there that make really nice stuff. I see a lot of modelers using Monster Model Works industrial dirt, and you know, but me personally, I just think that it says something about it when you go out to the area of that you're modeling and collect the sample and you know, bring it home and prepare it. You know, you're using actual material that's the area that you're model. So I think that's a really cool idea. So now when people look at it, I'm like, yeah, well, that dirt really came from the area. So try it. I think you'll like it. It comes out really good if you just do the prep work. The key is the prep work. Just don't go out and dig up a big shovel full and dump it on the layout, because it's not going to come out. So here I'm just filling in more of the area, using more of that Woodland Scenics ground cover. I really like it. We'll see how it comes out, the final product, when I put the trees and shrubs in and stuff. But yeah, very nice stuff. So I'm just going to work through the process here. The area around Agway, I'm kind of going to just use a nice medium green ground cover, because you know they would have mowed that area, so it would have been more taken care of. It wouldn't have been burnt or kind of brownish. So here we are going with static grass. So if you've been following the whole kind of tutorial on static grass, I tried one where I put ground cover, and then I did the other one where I didn't do ground cover, just did paint. Really didn't care for that too much. I think the ground cover comes out really nice. So it gets real sloppy, you'll see, when you add the glue and you smear it around, but overall the end product is really good. Yeah, like the static grass, and that Woodland Scenic static grass applicator really is a nice product. It's a little pricey. I think it was around $60, but it works really well. Alright, so there you go. So now just enjoy these overall shots of the finished ground cover scene, and you know, it's all going to change when we come back and put a lot of trees in it. So enjoy. All right, so there you go. That's how we did it. Oh man, it feels good. You know what? I'm standing right here, kind of in the pit. I can't really swing the camera over a little bit like this. You can see just a little bit of Englishtown right there over my shoulder. Yeah, this is just like, oh yes, I've been just dreaming of putting this scene together with my firehouse and Agway, Triangle Lumber, right down in there, and yeah, it's coming. It's just what I imagined. So very, very, very happy right now. So what happened? Yeah, so we talked, and I was all full of, you know, piss and vinegar, and I had videos, blah, blah, blah. So, one night it was really late. I put the kids to bed, and I was like, let me go work on the next video for Monmouth Battlefield, and I guess I was falling asleep at the keyboard. I deleted the thing. I lost everything, all that footage. So that was September. That's where September went. October, the best way I can tell you, October was... some things went down at work, and it was just didn't have the energy and didn't have the desire. That's all I'm really going to say about that. But now I'm back at it, and as you can see, we did it. Also, you know, in October or September, October time frame, I went on the show with Bill Graham, did another one of his Who's Big Bill Talking To. That was a lot of fun. Reaching out to the community. All the people that I used to talk to on the chat with Eric Hall and all that. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. Also, the big thing in October for me was, because, you know, I was really shutting down October, was the NMRA regional convention for the Middle Eastern Regional. I had presented out there. I did a topic that I had proposed to the committee, and it was kind of like, let me see if they like it. I kind of always dreamed of doing it, and that was social media model rating. Oh, blast. Great time, reconnected with a lot of stuff, a lot of people out there. I reconnected with Rick, and now I've kind of, you know, in the past, even on Lionel Strang's show, I've kind of like, you know, away from the NMRA, I'm kind of becoming reinvigorated. Renewed my membership, and committed to the 2025 regional convention here in New Jersey. They're going to be hosting the Middle Eastern Regional again. So consequently, I have a new time frame, because this layout will be done and on that convention. I've already committed to it. So yeah, we got to get cracking the whip. I have tons and tons of work, and I'm going to be producing videos as I go along. So yeah, brand new, full of energy, and you can expect a lot more. And right behind the camera, I'm not going to even turn it because I don't want to give it away. Monmouth Battlefield's already done. So yeah, it's been a very busy last couple of weeks. I've been in here cracking the whip, and people have been following on social media, on Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, you can definitely see all the pictures and the progress. So let me just talk briefly about Englishtown, about my thinking behind it. You know, there was so much I wanted to do, but I kind of really just watered it down, where I thought the key components for Englishtown was going to definitely be the Agway. And the Agway construction you see here, if anybody's asking, that's all scratch built. There's no kit involved in that. The only thing kit-wise was the grain elevator top. That was from Rick's. Everything else all scratch built. The roof, a lot of people commented on the roof on social media, and that is a 3D print from a British company. I can't remember the name of the 3D print place. Printed it out on printer paper and put it on, and yeah, what a difference really comes out. Triangle Lumber, all scratch built. Yeah, and that's like over the last 6 months, that's what I was bogged down as, doing all that. The house kit was Atlas, and the firehouse, Englishtown Firehouse, was all scratch built as well. So, you know, I kind of featured those key buildings because there were railroad involved. I had to get the firehouse in there because, you know, I remember, you know, as a teenage years, we'd go down for Monday night meetings in the middle of summer. We'd have the doors open, be hanging out on the front of the fire trucks, just waiting for the meeting. And lo and behold, Monday night, the SA-31 would come rumbling down and go into the freehold. So that's why I had to have that in there. So that was the reason behind that. The crossing signal system used in Englishtown is by Logic Rail. It's... This time around, I was, you know, after Brian did that wonderful thing for me in Jamesburg, I really just kind of was like, I don't like those IR sensors because they got big holes in the track and all that, but I wanted to try the photovoltaic. The only problem is when I do the photovoltaic is when I go to blue light, they trip off the circuit. So there's just, I've been fiddling and adjusting, and that's going to be the major problem with that. So if I do any kind of night ops, I'm just going to unplug the speaker, and we'll just have to protect the crossing and make pretend that the circuit is down and it's failed operating. So that's pretty much my only way I'm going to get around it, because the photo cells are super small and they're really easy to hide, especially in scale. But nighttime ops, no good. So if you're going to be doing nighttime ops, definitely going to have to go through the pain of doing the IR and just deal with the hole in the ties. That's all there is to it. But they're a beautiful system, a lot of function. Love the bell signal. Let's see, can I get a trip off? Yeah, bell sounds really nice when it goes off. So yeah, a lot of a little pricey, a lot of work, a lot of wires, a lot of manipulating and stuff. But you can customize it with different bell sequences and timing, and then you can add gate. This system here, I can add gates to it if I wanted to. So yeah, worth the money. But if you're definitely, just remember, Logic Rail, if you're going to do night operations, you got to have the IR sensors. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much it. So all the ground foam's in and done. Monmouth Battlefield done. I did put in some static grass and worked it in there. This video was mostly, though, focusing on those roads, because I know a lot of people want to know how I was doing my roads. The static grass, I just did a little bit over in Englishtown, did a lot more in Monmouth Battlefield, and that's going to soak here, because actually tomorrow, after I'm done filming this little segment here, I'm going to start making trees. I got 2 cases of trees from Super Trees to start over Monmouth Battlefield and work our way backwards, all the way back to the original sections, because there's just not enough trees. I got to add a whole bunch more. So that's what you can look forward to in the coming episodes. Monmouth Battlefield. This tree video, I think I'm going to have to split it into 2, but I'm going to release that probably after the first year. But I'm going to do a dual 2 videos in 1 month. I'm not going to make you wait. So, and then details. I got tons of detail parts I got to paint up and get installed. And then, so I think I might do a video on that, kind of like a filler video. And then vehicles. I need a ton more vehicles. I got to go out and spend a bunch of money getting all that, and then painting those up. So I think I'm going to do a video on vehicles. And then also I got the 5 locomotives. I'm going to get started on that, so that we can start the locomotive shop back up after the first of the year. And car projects. I think I got enough videos to bring the car shop back next year. So I'm going to be working on that over the next couple of weeks after the trees. And hopefully maybe after the first year get some time to just do some operations videos, maybe. Like, I'm not, listen everyone, I know I got lots of questions about, you know, when's the next video and all that stuff. I'm really trying, but it's just, life is just getting in the way, and it's like uncontrollable. It's nothing I can even control. It's just like the whole work thing really just ate up the whole September and the first 2 weeks of October, and I was just like, it was very stressful, and I don't want to get into details, but it was just very stressful and draining, and I had no freaking energy to even want to come down here. So yeah, but we're moving past it, and like I said, shooting for 2025, having, you know, just to put it out there, you know, in my mind is having everything done by 2024, completely done, skirts, room cleaned out, everything. Paint work retouched up and everything, and 2024 bringing back you know, operations again, hardcore, to get the layout really tweaked for the convention, because I want to have I'm thinking like operations sessions on the tour, and then like the maybe do a clinic, and then possibly on the way home tour open it up for an open house. So that's what I'm planning on. So put it on your calendar. You guys can make your way over to Jersey in 2025. You can come down and see the layout. So, and one last point I want to throw in here before I go, and is you know, after doing the social media and model raring presentation, and then looking at what Tony Bowen's doing, I think I'm going to follow in Tony's footsteps again. And I'm really liking the TikTok idea. I like his videos he's doing, so I think after the first year, I'm really going to start looking at doing a TikTok video channel, so I can just throw up 30-second shorts. And I love how he's interspersing, you know, really popular music in with his shots of his completed areas of his layout. Yeah, super cool, and I think I'm definitely going to do it. So look for that after the first year, but you know, I'll throw more updates at you on that. So if you're seeing this video for the first time, you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel. Love to have you following along and seeing how all this is progressing along. And if you please check us out on Facebook and Instagram, and you know, I would love to have you following along on a daily basis. So that's all I have for you this time. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.